Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. This morning I'm looking at a very important book which affects everybody in the legal system and outside it, in fact. This book has come to us from Oxford University Press and it's essentially a textbook. It's called Human Rights, Politics and Practice, now in a third edition, and it's been written by Michael Goodhart. It's part of the online research centre service which Oxford University provide, and the book itself I think is an excellent read because it puts in perspective where we are at the moment with the politics of human rights and the way in which it is practiced. Now, when I wrote the review, we were just about to decide on whether Britain would remain members of the European Union or not. UK has taken the decision to leave. So this book will probably require some amendment because we've got a brand new government. I've no idea what their views are on human rights, except for the general conservative disagreement in many quarters or displeasure with certain aspects of human rights law. But we shall have to wait and see what happens because I think we're into a very new era in the second decade of the 21st century. Now, Elizabeth and I talked about the book, and I've given the title of our review a main political agenda item for the current UK Parliament, brilliantly explained by Michael Goodhart. Let's look at the book first of all, because as I say, this was written before we knew the result of the referendum. There's the front, there's the spine, and then there's the back. Now, there's a lot of information on the back about the online research centre, which is listed there. You see there's a little icon there as well. It just sets up how to do it, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a moment or two. This is in fact a third edition, as you can see. It's a paperback. It runs to 500 pages. There's the index right at the back, and now right at the front it's actually quite a light book, which is nice. Some of these law books are very heavy. There's the front page. It's basically a textbook. Now that is the dedication, which I always like to show people. And then we get on to, there's a very short preface by Michael Goodhart, based in America, which is there. And then you've got what's new to the new edition. Then you get into the brief contents. And then after that, the detailed contents. You can see there's 23 chapters plus a glossary, references and the index. But then you've got the much more detailed contents, so you should be able to find what you're looking for very quickly. And that runs through, as you can see, the different parts of the book, covering just about every aspect of what you need to know. Now, there are a large number of people who've contributed to this book, and they are listed and probably known to quite a few of you. I can't go through all of the names because clearly there are a large number of people who have contributed to this excellent work. Now, this is a guided tour of the textbook features, which I'm sure any student will find very helpful. And then this tells you how to use the online resource centre there and there. Once you get used to it, it's quite easy to use, but I think for some people it may be a bit difficult to start off with. Now, each chapter has a very useful little sub-index for the chapter heading, which means you should be able to find things quite quickly with a bit of luck. And if we go into the main points, you've got, for instance, as it is a textbook, you've got a lot of questions. You've got key points regularly highlighted in boxed areas. You've got questions which are raised, and then there's further reading for any, in other words, the bibliography, which is there. And then what you do have, which I did find very helpful, are the web links, because this is the a new era, so the web links are extremely important and useful. I thought the book was a very interesting book, and I think would be worth reading for anybody involved in human rights issues, be they lawyers or politicians or anybody with general interest. Let me just explain a little bit about the book in a short review anyway. Michael Goodhart dedicates the third edition of Human Rights, Politics and Practice for people everywhere engaged in struggles for their rights, because this statement neatly sums up, in my view, the importance and relevance of this textbook for the remainder of what will be the 2015 to 20 Parliament. We're obviously in a new landscape with what is going on, and we'll have to await decisions probably certainly towards the end of 2016 onwards as to what is actually going to happen and the effect that will have on the Human Rights Act itself. Obviously our membership of the European Court of Justice, as it was then called, and the membership of the European Court of Human Rights are also the separate courts, which of course is very important for people to remember. But the European Court of Human Rights itself, our membership, I've no idea exactly what will happen to that, but clearly our new Prime Minister, Theresa May, has a very different view possibly from predecessors. So wait and see what happens. Whether we get a full repeal eventually of the Human Rights Act, I have no idea, but it could well be that this becomes quite a major issue to go with the separate matter of Brexit and exiting the European Union. Now there are 23 chapters written by the various contributors with a substantial knowledge of virtually every aspect of human rights law, together with the excellent link to the Oxford University Press's online resource centre. That keeps readers as up to date as possible with developments in what will become one of the central issues of the current Parliament. Now, Goodhart's work is primarily a textbook, although he meets his main objective, we think, brilliantly, which is to help and assist readers understand not simply the facts about human rights, but also the deeper legal, historical, philosophical and conceptual issues that make them so problematic and so indispensable politically. I think I can say in conclusion then that the title remains the foremost work for students as we face a most uncertain future after the decision to leave the EU and all that will follow that very substantial change in direction that this country is taking. The publication is dated for 2016. I'll just show you again some of the details here. It's actually, yes, it's listed for 2016. The first edition came out in 2009 and the second in 2013. That's the quote that I've used there. Let's just open the book in the middle. This is Human Rights and Religion. And again, you can see a lot of boxed areas again. They love boxed areas in these textbooks. The key points I think are very helpful to summarise where one is going, and then you've got discussions on important cases of the day and issues, various other issues. For instance, some more coming up. Go later into the book. Political democracy and state repression. Again, an important area. To remember, you've got the index chapter right at the front, and then there's a reader's guide explaining what's in it. I'd like to thank Michael Goodhart very much indeed for producing this, and OUP, and of course all the contributors for what is, I think, an excellent textbook for students in 2016. Thank you to all. Bye-bye.